the basics of color.
This is really fun. I'm pretty excited for this episode because it's going to be the layer down, right? Because it goes gate, dot, line, dot, color. And so we're going to be explaining what that all means. Thank you everyone for hanging out. Thank you for liking and subscribing. It really helps us. And let's get into part 2. Color is a sub-layer of your chart's structure. It's positioned below line and above tone and base in the hierarchy. So it goes gate, dot line, dot color, dot tone, dot base. When you're looking
all
at
that
it,
information, you need every bit of that to define your one gate in that moment at the time of birth. Again, that's why the time of birth is so important.
Yeah, when you get into like the nitty gritty, it's so many layers. And so color is also linked to the 4 transformations of digestion. It's also called determination, environment, perspective, and motivation, which is our guide on how to thrive physically and mentally in the world based on your specific needs. And so each color has a specific frequency that can either align with or deviate from a person's true nature, impacting their health and fulfillment.
Yeah, the thing about color is it's something that we have conscious access to once we start describing it to you. But without the description, you don't even notice it per se. It just blends into the background. Yet, as a totality, for example, the motivation of the personality is such an incredible driving force in the entirety of the body graph that whatever that motivation is, I have to strongly read that into every word I say to that person. Or potentially I would anyways, is because it leads such a hardcore part of what they are on the determination side, the dietary regimen, and then, where you are, your environment. That's a little less easy to see because it's on the design side. But at the same time, as soon as you start to see it and play with it, you'll notice there are certain environments where you're like, oh, this is great. And other ones where you're antsy. Now, why the heck is that? It's because you have a particular one that's best for you. Who knew? We thought that, oh, it's just a little inconvenience. I have to whatever. No,
I'm
that's
just
because you have
being
a
weird.
defined, right. No, it's because you have a defined G center. You're sort of okay there, but you still don't like it. You know what I mean? Undefined Gs will show us the way. The wisdom of the undefined G center is such a magical thing. They will, Moni, you and I, it won't show, we won't know.
We're just going where we're going. We don't know if it's
Wherever,
a good route.
and if it's not the best place for us, we can still withstand, it's defined G, and it just sort of whatever, it'll mosey along. But the undefined will be like the Geiger counter, the little, the thing that can navigate and track exactly what is right and not right, what is the right place. Collectively, the undefined G, just like the reflector, again, that's the most important undefined center in the reflector, is the G center, will show us the way. In the reflector's case, they will reflect back the correct path, and so color shows us so much of where we're supposed to be, exactly who we really are in it. My motivation is desire. I know what that does to me, and I was explaining that to Moni last night. So I always try and think big, but I'm right-minded, so I can't strategically get there. I can hate myself for that, or I can just go with the flow, and sooner or later something will happen. It's one way or the other. Torture yourself or live well. So color is a guide to recognizing you're living well, and it's part of these variables.
Color, you'll see it most typically on a chart, on like your standard chart. It's going to be a number within this like orange circle, and it goes from 1 through 6. And so you'll see it on a chart. You'll see the orange little circle with the number in it, and it's going to be typically the most medial number around your body graph, the most towards the center.
Yep.
So that's what we're referring to with color. It's going to be that innermost number typically in this orange circle. And it's also related to the primary health systems and Rave psychology, also called the 4 transformations. Basically a journey that you can take that Ra described to us, where you're kind of putting yourself in order in this specific way in order to live and be correct as yourself so you can live the correct movie of your life. And so this starts off on the design side on your left side with the right numbers and colors. On the design side, it starts with the top, which is your digestion. Basically, for you to be eating correctly, so you're taking in the right nutrients and that your body can process them correctly. And once you're eating correctly, then you shift over into the environment, which is the one at the bottom on the left side. And that's then, cool, you're eating correctly. Now let's make sure you're in the right physical environment and the right frequency of an environment. And once you get that in order, you go around like the bottom of the chart over to the perspective. So it's on the personality side, it's the bottom one. And your perspective is literally your perspective. It's how you're seeing stuff. So you eat correctly, so your body's in order. So then you're in the right environment and in the right places. And then you start seeing correctly and seeing what you're supposed to see in the world. And finally, it moves up top to the motivation and what's going to motivate you to act on the world and act in the world.
What's going to motivate that self-reflective consciousness that can speak and has cognition and has consciousness to know that I am? You know, the personality and motivation is the I am. That's why it's got a motivation. That's why its word is motivation. Its I am has a perspective. It sees, you know, and if you're right, good luck finding a needle in a haystack. And if you're left, you got a chance. And in what environment, and then with what digestion. It's important to notice that the food thing, it's not about what you eat, although we strongly recommend you go organic and get good food, maybe grow something, you know, stay out of the inside of the store, around the outside is right. But so that, put that aside, it's about the circumstances and or the conditions you're in at the time you're allowing the food stuff to pass the 7 or 8 different layers it goes every time you swallow. Each one of those points is sending out a chemistry, a signal. Mind and brain are taking that signal in. It's like, oh, good, it's feeding me right. It becomes aware of the energy and the calories it's about to use, just like the fuel gauge makes the car know, I got good gas and I'm full up now or not, you know. And so it's just the way in which you eat. You know, I have to eat calm. So if I'm in a super agitated, busy environment with too much going on, my throat tightens up, and my brain and my mind will not recognize the food that it's eating, and I'll overeat. So this dietary regimen is at the core of overeating. Is at the core of undereating. Is at the core of lack of health quickly, even more so than environment. Environment you can sort of trudge through, but this thing right here, we start off young. The moment we come out of the womb, technically we're being conditioned by how we not necessarily eat correctly, because moms wouldn't know the very particular thing. I was lucky. Calm is good because generally, you know, when a woman is breastfeeding in those first year, however long they do it for, it usually is in a private location-ish,
Yeah,
right?
you're usually at home as the new mom. Yeah.
Or, and even if you're out, it's on, everyone knows, you know what I mean? No one says anything because mom is breastfeeding her child. It's a gorgeous thing. All I'm getting at is it's usually a private thing-ish.
Calm.
Calm as well. Yeah, it's just, you know, you can't be jumping around. And it's, my older brother was trying to bother my mom. My mom would tell him to get the hell out of here. You know, I'm feeding Daniel. And so I was lucky in that way. But it's, everyone has their own way, and it is about how you take the food, because the food, as it's being swallowed, chewed, masticated, sent down, enjoyed, tasted, savored, whatever it is you're doing with it, on its way down, as soon as that swallow is, the last swallow is done, that's your dietary regimen, not what you ate and how you necessarily prepared it. Although your environment will definitely have you preparing things a certain way. So we can get there.
We're going to go through each of these 6 colors and go through the keynotes that are associated with each. And so what we were talking about in the last slide with the 4 transformations, where we go from design to personality. So that's how you do it on your journey to kind of decondition yourself and get you right. What we're going to do on this side is we're actually going to start from the personality side into the design side, so it'll be easier for everyone to kind of vibe with the energy of each of these colors. So it's going to make sense what we do it. Starting off, we have color 1, which is the hunter. Color 1 is motivated by fear, and the perspective is survival. So if you're motivated by fear and your perspective is survival, then your environment, you're going to want it to be real safe, like a cave, because a cave has one entrance in and one entrance out. And it's very like hunter. What are you finding? It's the appetite of what you're finding as you find it. And it's related to line 1 of the investigator, because again, there's this insecurity. And so there's this resonance in that.
Yep, absolutely. Insecurity is the right word. These are all keynotes that are really important. And the reason we liken it to the behavioral role of the investigators, because that's how we determine profiles in the first place. It's just the easiest way to go. Investigator will investigate. It's like a timid cat walking out for the first time. It's like one little paw touching it barely. That's the investigator. Fear drives the intelligence for the investigator. The appetite is the keynote for how they'll take in food, because that appetite is, they have an appetite they have to build up. It's about building up an appetite and then suddenly eating what is available. That's why it's called the hunter. This is the first one, and these colors are a mirror of, again, our evolutionary trajectory from 100,000 years ago till now. So meaning the higher we go in color, the more advanced evolutionarily is that color, more sophisticated inside of us. And humanity has been ready to take in all 6 colors since 1781. And so we're just getting used to that now. We're doing it. Our consciousness field is going really quick. Our evolution is actually at probably a quantum more of movement, speed, momentum than it was in the first 100,000 years. It's incredible. So we'll see that as we move up.
We have color 2, which is the gatherer. So color 2 is motivated by hope, and the perspective is possibility. And so it starts to make sense why the environment is markets. Because like you might find something nice at the market. There's a possibility. There's a hope that something just might appear, and you find something to your taste, which is their digestion. Color 2 relates with line 2, which is the hermit.
Yeah, and they're markets. They're sort of a markets person, because that's where they get their hopeful communion or not. The hermit is the left alone one, essentially. And the reason they're called the gatherers, because their taste is for that which is seasonal. They still gather up their digestive juices by going out and sort of hunting in a way, but they're sort of hunting the seasonality of, it's berries for this week, it's that for this week. So it's important these people sort of do one thing at a time in a way, and they'll know right away if they like something. They'll spit it right out. You can start to, if this is your baby, you can start to notice it from moment one, what they're going to take in and what not. You know, it's a nice way to see it. Hope as a motivation, this is sublime. If you're a hermit and you don't know anything else because you're busy with your own little trip, hope is about your best weapon. I mean, what other information do you have? Your second line. Those second lines are busy waiting to see what no one else is noticing and to be called deeply into the rest of the world and go out and do something through the act of a calling. And I don't know about you, but I'm never called into anything that I don't hope is going to be amazing. So hope becomes a valid, energetic, a chemistry that we then call hope, and hope that the seven-centered conditioned world around us doesn't try and tell us that that's silly or folly. Follow your calling and go out and gather the seasonality of how you're going to take in food. You're going to take in the food that was seasonal.
Color 3 is the transformer. Color 3 is motivated by desire with a perspective of power. And then it's kind of neat because the kitchen environment is where you transform things. You take one thing and make it into something else, and you have the desire to, what else could this be? What else can I make this as? And power is about the who's winning and who's losing. Are you transforming something good or are you transforming something bad? The digestion is thirst, and it's color 3 related to line 3 is the martyr.
The whole thing's a trial and error bumping into process. When you're in the kitchen, that's where synthesis takes place. Well, that's what the martyr and the trial errorist does with their keynotes of sustaining and getting right back up when they get knocked down and never making a mistake, only finding out what does and doesn't work. And that's why they get martyred in the, in the conditioned world. But in an awake world, they don't get anything. It's just like, oh, what'd you learn? Try not to break anymore. You owe me $15, possibly, but still, it's a friendly thing. The kitchens is where stuff gets made. The thirst is the way they will hunger. It doesn't mean you only drink fluid. You start to eat and take food into your body that you thirst for. And it's either hot or cold. That's the thing. So there's all these variations with it. The transformer is the right word. This is where transformation takes place. That's why they see power, who's winning, who's losing. It's still a strategic view. It's a focused view. That's the view that literally is, well, it's not necessarily that, but it's power is what they're looking at, is who's winning and who's losing. And that desire that's in there is something that clearly it's about wanting to lead and wanting to get out in front and make bigger that which already is. It's always about the expansion of something, and usually it's the expansion of consciousness. So this is the color that moves most things. This one's very energetically moving. In fact, it's in the energetic binary. We didn't point that out here, but in color, there's the upper trigram and the lower trigram. There's also the binary, the 1 and the 2, they go together. The 3 and the 4, the energetic binary. The 5 and the 6, the transitional binary. So
there we have that on the next week's one and the color deep dive. So I'm glad
see?
you like gave a little teaser.
Oh, yes. It's hard to stop, Moni.
Oh, I know. I've been doing this with you for over a year. So color 4 is the determiner. Color 4 is motivated by need, and the perspective is want. The environment is mountains, and the digestion is touch. And the color 4 relates to line 4. And I'm curious how you're going to tie this together, because I'm like, how does need and want work with like the mountain and all of that? So,
well, the opportunist isn't just the opportunist. It's the opportunity to have an influence to externalize what energetically becomes a fixed trip. It's still working off of what the third line gave. Remember, we're moving in an evolutionary path. So we started out hunting. It's like kill it and eat it. Dang, I'm hungry. You know what I mean? We live or die by the sword, literally, and then we move into gathering, which starts to look at things like agriculture. Potentially, hey, let's move here because the blueberries are in season every year here everywhere. That's beginning of agriculture. Third line is totally seeing it to pull together the agriculture. That's why it starts the energetic one, because it is now bumping into literally getting us onto that we'll be able to have abundance with food. Food's an important thing, dude. It's all through the tribe. It's all through everything. We live and die by it. It is the master resource besides water. Feed my family. That's what someone always says. How am I supposed to feed my family? You know, they might say house my family, clothe my family, but they always lead with feed, you know, when someone's making something urgent. And when you get to the opportunist, it's not that they're leading with any of the fear that would go there. It's not that they have a desire to make whatever be whatever. The opportunist has a need to speak. And because they have a need to speak, they have to sophisticatedly look for opportunities. Because they have to sophisticatedly look for opportunities, their environment is calm. Calm touch. Okay.
because it's nervous touch or calm touch.
And it's a manipulation of their food where they literally are either inner vision looking at it, or they're just allowing it to go by. They're able to touch it slowly. It doesn't matter that anyone might be looking or not, because they're just in a calm area. That calm area by definition is not in the valley. The valley is where everything is moving. The light and the sound are not a place. This is the end of place. That's 4 is basically just like the Godheads. It is the 4. This is the place where mountains keep you away to where you can be calm. And you're in a natural mountainside where you can physically be up high. Your view out the window makes it look like you're in a mountain of some sort. You're on the top level of a floor of a house, let's say. You're up higher looking down. This is the starting place of where you will have determined. That determiner, read that the same way as fixedness. The fourth line is determined. They are determining what they're going to say. And if what they say can influence the other, that's where they get their opportunity. That's where they get what they need and don't transfer into fear. Need is not there to be, I need this, I need that, I don't have what I need. It's there to recognize I only need a few things. And what are those things? It's there to acquire the need, and the need allows you to keep moving forward. And the want is easy. I want everyone to have what they need. My view is I see the wants that aren't answered, you know, and when they don't go answered and want transfers and through the not self, it gets into survival mode. We don't want that. That's a first line activity. This is all externalizing. The opportunist has a spot on the mountain. He can touch what he eats. He eats calm to keep clear. It's got to be calm to keep clear. He yells it from the mountaintop. What he is determined to say, he's going to keep saying it. He needs to say it. And he gets what he wants when he does that. And it's about recognizing need as your motivation is wicked important, because it's your need and the needs of others. The other has needs too. You see that as well. So it's a wicked glue, an energetic zone to put glue and marketing into society. And if we market correctly, we're marketing the 9-centered form. communion, movement towards beauty, getting along, recognizing who you are, who you're not. Force is crazy place because it's not like any of the others. By the way, the fourth color is the only color that transfers to all the other colors. I don't know if you knew that. Were you aware of
I heard
that
that. I
too?
heard that before. Yeah.
Yeah. So in the motivation, especially not so much in the other colors, but in motivation, it's profound. The fourth need can suddenly be desirous, fearful. It can be all of the things, all of the other colors. It can transfer, and it's not self-transference and stay there for days and weeks. That being will not eat correctly. Their cognition won't work. Their consciousness won't grow. They'll wonder why they're so bummed. And we will show all of these things as they tie together.
5 is the listener, and color 5 is motivated by guilt with a perspective of probability. The environment is valleys, and it relates to sound. And valleys are also about information coming in and airflow.
Universalizing.
Yeah,
Universalizing. The valleys where the towns aren't in the mountains. The towns are in the valleys.
yeah, yeah. And so color 5 is also related to line 5, which is the heretic, which is then why Danny was talking about the universalizer. So go
Right.
on.
The universalizing of the fifth line's capacity to come in and trumpet the news, to be a universalizing force that as they start to speak, the others start to be like, what? What's he saying? They're not hearing so much the fixed trip of the fourth externalizer, only the network is hearing it. That's not being heard quite so much throughout the whole community until the fifth line comes along. That's why they're called the heretic, because if what they bring isn't what the society there wants, they're called a heretic and they're run out of town. They have to listen. It's the only way to get practical. And it's a sophisticated, higher line, higher evolutionary track thing to do. The hunter had to listen only for their survival. Now we're all the way up to the fifth line. They're listening for consciousness's survival. Their job is to universalize all of the things that will turn a probability into what guilt asks us to do. Guilt just says do something. Let's fix it. It's a motivation to fix and do and be part of the fix, but do it as a listener first. It's very related to that gate 13 that listens, because that's where the wisdom comes in. Only after it listens can it tell the rest of the story. Even the logic system can't get us the story. It can get us a path to it. It's the listener that tells us what we need. At the end of the day, to be whole all the way around from past all the way to future. And this fifth line is universalizer of that. The sound is loud or soft. I mean, as it relates to digestion, you eat your food while it's loud or while it's soft. It depends which way the arrow is facing. And the whole view of probabilities, that's my view. My view is probabilities. I can tell when I'm in transference to possibilities because, I start buying scratch tickets and stuff. Accidentally, oops. And the probability is I'm not getting anything out of that. Probability is a wicked intelligent view. The probability that the listener listens to the right thing with a view of probabilities is really good. Then they'll know what they should do about it. And they're in town, so they can make the right sound, and suddenly they'll be universalizing all the stuff that they're saying. They won't get called a heretic. They'll get called a general and a saint and a savior. Come to know this color in your body graph as we go through. And the thing is, each arrow in your variable, the 4 variables, will have a different color. Well, they might have the same color, but that's only by accident. It's not uncommon for there to be 4 different colors per the 4 different variables. So this is a general look at what color is doing. It's motivating us. It's determining the determination of our dietary regimen. It's letting us know how this environment is with us, whether it's a right arrow or left arrow of the environment. One's a wide valley, one is a nice narrow valley, compact, where more stuff is energetically happening. And it all rests on the very end of the energetic binary. We moved through that energetic, and now this is how we transition. And it's part of our evolution. So it's the transition, getting to the roof, near the roof of how we transition in our own experience, in our own evolution. Transition into consciousness really starts here at the listener.
Here we have color 6, which is the watcher. Color 6 is motivated by innocence, and the perspective is personal. The environment is shores. The digestion relates to eating according to the light. And color 6 relates with line 6, which is the role model.
That dang role model. So all of these innocence, what is that?
It's
Personal,
a
my
lack
view.
of motivation, which is hilarious to be like, it's motivated by not being motivated.
Right, right, which describes this is all these colors are for the post Saturn return 6 line. These colors don't add up so much for the first 28 years. We have to blend their third line instances with it when we read for them. And we have to ask them because they're going to be a blend of them. But just post Saturn return, 28 and a half years old, role model, it's all describes what it's like to go up on the roof. Read all the 6 lines of the Rave mandala. You will see that the 6th line is all about transitioning and being up on a roof and being aloof and being willing to be appear almost as the fool on the hill, being the wise, being the true end of the process, transitioning into the next. It's really an exalted place as you read through it all. It's like it's a great way to understand what these lines are doing is read all 64 of the lines in a row without being tempted to move into another line. Just keep going through the pages at the back of the book, reading only line sixes, only line fives, only line fours, or ones, or whatever you want. And you'll see that the 6 is the watcher. What do you think you do on the roof? The watcher also comes down. They watch when they're down too. And they have to have these motivations because when they come down from the roof, they're innocent again. They were watching the whole time. They haven't been fully in the thick of it all. They stay. Innocence is the lack of motivation. It's the lack of desire. It's do without doing, and the doing gets done. That's innocence. Same thing with personal. The view of personalness is they see through their own personal lens first. That's okay. So if this person is taking things a little bit casually and their view is personal and their motivation is innocence, don't ask them to heat up too much because you want them to be mad or something or be on your side. They don't. This is not sides. The other 5 colors might take certain sides, naturally according to their strategy and authority. Though this one asked me not to take a side, my child. That's what this one would say. And it eats with the light, or it eats after the light has gone down. That's the thing. Talk about circumstances and conditions. The condition of eating for them is either nighttime or daytime. How simple is that? I mean, as it relates to the obviousness of it, that's what the role model is here to do. Hey, it's obvious I'm me. I'm not someone else. I'd like to make incredibly obvious how this works. There's a fine line. It's daytime or nighttime. If you take your food in during the daytime and that's your determination, then good deal, which I believe would be a left facing arrow. Yeah. So
Yeah.
if you have a left facing arrow with a color 6, take your food in while the sun is shining. And if the sun goes down too early because you're in a northern climate, turn on the light, eat in direct light if you can, or find a light that mirrors certain aspects of the sun. Not even kidding.
I just stop eating at sunset.
Yeah.
I keep it
And,
real simple.
yes. And so eat during, and you've noticed the difference
Oh, it's night and day. Like,
night and day.
I didn't mean it, but it's yeah. No, totally. It's eating with the sun has completely changed my life, and so many like health issues have disappeared, and food tastes better, and my whole body function better. My head is running better. My brain runs better. Yeah, I swear by my daytime eating only, barring
Can
like
you imagine?
Christmas or
So, and
something.
it's not, yeah, it's not what you eat per se. Again, you want to eat better food than junk food,
Yeah.
don't eat just donuts. But I'm just saying you notice right away, oh my God. So the condition in which I ate was all I had to do was wait for it to be light time. I didn't need it to be loud or soft. I didn't need to be calm or agitated. I didn't need to feel thirsty or not. I didn't thirst for it. I didn't hunger for it. I didn't hunt for it. That wasn't the thing. That happened evolutionarily, years and centuries and millennia ago. You are the top. This color is the top of the line as it relates to our evolution. And it says, I become the role model. I am the light. It doesn't matter if it's nighttime and it's without direct sunlight. It's indirect, is what it would be with a right facing arrow. That doesn't matter. It's everything surrounding the light. I mean, otherwise we would prejudice one half of every single day. No good, because the day is gorgeous. So darkness at night doesn't mean we are without the light. The light is coming, as always. It's just on the other side waiting to come around. And that's why this ends up being the watcher, the innocent personal watcher on the roof, meeting up with their shores. Essentially, they have to see a shoreline off of what they look out of. It's either a natural shoreline if it's a left-facing arrow, or it can be an artificial shore where it just sort of looks like a sea. A tall building almost looks like a sea when you look out over everything. And that would be what a right-facing arrow could easily do anyways, because it's sort of all brightness can blur out and grayscale things easily. Gray study, right? That brown study where you half close your eyes and you're not really paying attention. That's a right-minded quality, in the way of doing things. So a shore is basically the end of the road where the transition happens. If you think about it that way, everything else was inland. And the shores are the finally, think about it. You get to the shore and it's like, okay, I guess we'll set up camp here because I don't, I don't live inside water. I might cross it. And that would be quite a transition, wouldn't it? That's what we did ultimately. Our genes made us cross the ocean, for God's sakes. So shores are a natural place for the sixth line to be. And by the way, I say sixth line role model because it resonates with it. If you have a sixth line in your profile, you like to travel, or you dream of it, or it's something you miss if you don't do enough of, or you wonder about at times in your life. Traveling is transitional. We take our genome and our aura someplace else and affect them. So it's no different than inseminating something else. We're injecting ourselves someplace else. To travel is bugs don't travel. The mice outside and the squirrels, they don't travel. They travel 80 feet, or 200 feet. Birds travel. And boy, do we look up to birds. I mean, we've copied them for so long, right? So
You say like this wild stuff, and it's like it totally also makes sense. But man, you say stuff in a great way sometimes, Danny.
oh, thank you, Moni. I'm done with color. This transitional sixth line is a very special place. Yeah.
So here we have all the 6 colors with the full chart if you want to like screen grab it. In conclusion, the 6 colors in human design reveal the subconscious motivations shaping how you interact with the world. By understanding your colors, you can align your digestion, environment, perspective, and motivation with your unique energetic blueprint, unlocking deeper fulfillment in your authentic expression of self.
That's so well said, because you put all 4 together and we get a really good idea of how better even to understand your own chart, understand why your strategy and authority is so important. And boy, will you start getting the life that you're supposed to have. When I didn't eat calm, I didn't have the life I was supposed to have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When I started viewing possibilities instead of probabilities, I did not have the life I was supposed to have. A big mess is what I had.
Same.
That's how I would conclude with color. Color is the step below the line, and it's part of your unique way. And you're so unique and so amazing that it takes 1,030 different possibilities and one channel to make a life force in you. There's so many possibilities, 5 bases times 6 times 6 times 6 times 6. It's a lot. It adds up quickly. And that's how unique you are. Your color was chosen from 1 out of 1,030 possible, just unique little facets. And that motivation is stays pouring through you along with your determination. Just that color is pouring through you, and you'll see it once we start describing it to you. People already see the line and the gate. Even the unconscious stuff, when we explain it to them, I got, yeah, a little bit, they see it. The conscious gate, everybody knows. I can go, oh, look at that, gate 51 or gate 26. Yeah, I can say something about a conscious gate and they will know. I can get to the line of it and then they extra know, oh my God, they're reading my, and look up, like, is there a camera somewhere in here? Right? We've seen that in people as we read their line. Now we can get to the color, which sits right below the line. It's like the little seed below the surface saying, I'm about to pop up and give you something you can access. You'll see it as soon as I show it to you. When you start getting below that tone and base, it's harder to really see, and we shouldn't even bother with making you see that right away. Let's get to these colors because they're the colors of what moves you. They're your colors, essentially. You should know them.
We also got a compliment from Amanda. It makes a lot of sense seeing all the variable colors together. Thank you. Great masterclass. Learned a lot.
Yay. Thank you, Amanda. Yep. Tell your friends. Let's have a party. Get some popcorn. I'll answer questions. We'll answer questions live.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting. Like as the channel develops, we just got to the point where we can have like membership things. So we could start developing that of like having private video things, live streams with just like our members and doing like, more question answers or whatever. I don't know. I'm a projector, so all of this is very new and crazy for me to be the one managing and navigating, but we're trucking along and new things are opening up.
Jennifer suggested the other day when we were talking, she suggested to find a way to find that little cash donation button that's on YouTube because sometimes people just have a hankering to like give.
So that's part of it now that we've gotten to, what was it?
Over 3,000 watch
Is
hours.
the 3,000 watch hours and 500 subscribers with which we're well over, then you can start having the memberships. And then I think you can start having like the donate stuff. And then I can see about like Patreon or whatever else. And I don't know. I'm new at all of this. If people want to help, please reach out because, managing all of this is like, I'm a third line figuring it
Yeah,
out as I
guys,
go.
if there is someone there with some extra time, by the way, it's not asking for a full-time job now that I think of it. It's just like if you have an afternoon a couple times in a row to help jumpstart the thing, probably is what's really going
Yeah, or
on.
just, talk with
Do
me
it.
while I do the thing that I'm nervous to do because I'm a projector with an open throat.
Right. There you go, Moni. Just gave the ask. That's actually the ask. So if someone call in, please, because we keep doing all this stuff for everybody. So
Fantastic. Yeah. And I'll put up the thing. If you want to contact Danny, then DannyG@DannyGuru.com. We also have his Instagram, which is DannyGuruHD. And then we have the Awaken Your Human Design Instagram, which I'm going to be trying to take over and do more stuff with and learn how to be a content creator and social media person. So I don't know. It's fun.
awesome, Moni. I think we killed it. The color of life it adds up to being the spice. Get to know your colors. It's really cool. It'll help you with your strategy and authority. But get your reading first and don't worry about color if you haven't even started anything yet. You can't jump into color first. It's not, I won't do it.
No, it's just for the people who have been like going into it and you're ready for it. So this has been really fun.
Sounds good to me, Miss Moni.
Yeah. So thank you, Danny. Thank you to everyone who is watching and liking and commenting and subscribing and asking questions and cheering us along. We love having you. We really appreciate you. Thank you. And we will catch you next time.
Till next time, everyone. Much love.